Emmerdale fans have predicted one couple will be in bed soon after a heated episode of the soap. Graham has returned to Emmerdale, and in the latest episode of the show, he came face to face with Joe and Kim. Joe was horrified that Graham was still alive, telling him he had spent years grieving for him. He said he had retreated into drugs when Graham had died, and this had caused the kidney failure he was struggling with earlier on. Meanwhile, Kim and Graham spent most of the episode exchanging veiled and not-so-veiled insults. Fans of the show were focused on one detail, though, that Graham and Kim appeared to still have a sort of chemistry. Now fans think the former couple could get back together. At ReeseBoy2591 said, "Just give us Kim and Graham, you cowards." At Robronism shared, "The sexual tension between Kim and Graham run." Another fan at Mitch Ziff added, "Kim Hardcore Boss Lady is not in the least perturbed by the return of her ex-husband and partner in crime. In fact, open another bottle of brandy and they'll be in bed by the time this episode ends. She really did love Graham." Emmerdale fans were left stunned and more than a little excited after the latest dramatic episode of the ITV soap saw the shock return of Graham Foster, setting social media alight with speculation that one iconic couple could soon be rekindling their fiery romance. Following an emotionally charged confrontation involving Graham, Joe Tate, and Kim Tate, viewers were quick to notice one undeniable detail. Despite years of betrayal, heartbreak, and presumed death, the chemistry between Kim and Graham appears far from extinguished. In fact, fans are now boldly predicting that the former lovers and partners in crime could soon find themselves back together, with some joking they'll be in bed again before anyone has time to catch their breath. Graham's return sent shockwaves through the village. Graham's unexpected return to Emmerdale sent immediate shockwaves through the village, particularly for Joe Tate, who was left horrified to come face to face with a man he believed had been dead for years. In raw and emotional scenes, Joe admitted that Graham's supposed death had destroyed him. He revealed that he had spiraled into drug use while grieving, a downward path that ultimately contributed to the kidney failure he was struggling with earlier this year. Joe's devastation was palpable as he confronted Graham, struggling to reconcile the man standing in front of him with the grief he had lived with for so long. For viewers, it was a moment packed with emotional weight, but it wasn't Joe's pain that dominated fan discussion online. Instead, all eyes were on Kim Tate. Kim and Graham's explosive face-off. Throughout the episode, Kim and Graham shared multiple tense encounters, each one dripping with unresolved emotion, bitterness, and something far more dangerous. Yet beneath the hostility, fans quickly sensed something deeper bubbling just below the surface. Every look lingered just a moment too long. Every insult felt strangely intimate. Every shared silence spoke louder than words. For many viewers, it was immediately clear Kim and Graham's history is far from over. Fans spot the chemistry instantly. Social media erupted as fans shared their reactions, with many admitting they were completely distracted from the episode's main drama by the palpable tension between the former couple. One fan at ReeseBoy2591 summed up the mood perfectly, writing, "Just give us Kim and Graham, you cowards." At Robronism shared, "The sexual tension between Kim and
Mitch
Graham."
Ziff offered a particularly vivid prediction. Kim Hardcore Boss Lady is not in the least perturbed by the return of her ex-husband and partner in crime. In fact, open another bottle of brandy and they'll be in bed by the time this episode ends. She really did love Graham. It's a sentiment echoed across fan forums, Facebook groups, and Reddit threads, with viewers convinced that Kim's icy composure isn't indifference, but control. A love story built on power and chaos. Kim Tate and Graham Foster were never a conventional couple. Their relationship was forged in ambition, manipulation, and shared secrets, a dangerous mix that made them one of Emmerdale's most compelling pairings. Unlike many soap romances built on innocence and longing, Kim and Graham thrived on power.
They understood each other in ways no one else ever could, and fans have long argued that their connection ran deeper than simple attraction. That's why Graham's return feels less like an old flame reappearing and more like unfinished business demanding resolution. Kim's reaction says it all. What struck fans most was not what Kim said, but what she didn't. Rather than collapsing in shock or rage at Graham's return, Kim remained composed, sharp, and unshaken. She met his presence head-on, matching him beat for beat, as if she had been waiting for this moment all along. To viewers, her reaction spoke volumes. "She's not scared of him," one fan noted online. "She's not angry enough to hate him, and she's definitely not over him." For a character as controlled and calculating as Kim Tate, indifference would have been the clearest sign the relationship was dead. Instead, her measured hostility suggests something far more complicated. Joe's pain versus Kim's calm. The contrast between Joe and Kim's reactions only fueled speculation further. While Joe was visibly shaken, emotional, and angry, grappling with the damage Graham's disappearance caused him, Kim appeared almost invigorated by Graham's presence. Fans pointed out that while Joe spoke of loss and grief, Kim engaged Graham as an equal, sparring with him intellectually and emotionally. It's a dynamic that viewers have always associated with romance rather than rivalry. They never fell out of love. A growing number of fans now believe that Kim and Graham never truly fell out of love, they simply ran out of time. Online discussions are filled with theories suggesting that Graham's return could reignite not just old feelings, but old alliances. "They were strongest together," one fan wrote. "They were dangerous together, and that's why it worked." Others predict a slow-burn reunion filled with manipulation, denial, and explosive confrontations before they inevitably give in to their shared history. Could Emmerdale really go there? From a storytelling perspective, bringing Kim and Graham together would be classic Emmerdale. The show has never shied away from morally complex relationships, and fans argue that a Kim-Graham reunion would be far more compelling than a clean break. It would also place Joe in an impossible position, forced to confront the man he mourned and the woman who may still love him. The emotional fallout could reshape the Tate family dynamic entirely. A dangerous reunion on the horizon. While some fans are joking about Kim and Graham ending up in bed immediately, others believe the show is setting up something far darker and more dramatic. Old loyalties, buried secrets, power struggles reignited. Whether their reunion is romantic, destructive, or both remains to be seen, but one thing is clear: fans are watching every interaction closely. Fans are ready. Are the writers? As the episode ended, speculation only intensified, with viewers eagerly awaiting the next chapter.